Are you looking for a new kingdom, but you're just unsure on where and how to find the best kingdom, or you're just nervous that you're going to pick the wrong one? Or maybe you're just thinking in the future you may want to migrate and you may want to know what's the best way to go about it and how to find the perfect kingdom for you. Well, in this video, we are going to be talking about the best strategy on how to locate a good kingdom, questions that you should be asking before you ever even migrate there, and strategies on how you can determine whether how they answer your questions were 100% truthful or if they were just blowing smoke up your butt. Now, I'm Wispy Gaming, and if you have not yet subscribed to the channel and you enjoy guides that help you optimize and grow your account, then consider subscribing because we come out with guides like this all the time. Now, a lot of people, when it comes to migration, they're nervous or they're unsure on how to even find a kingdom or a potential match for them to go to. There are different ways you can do this. You can go on Facebook. Every kingdom has a recruiter and a migration I guess specialist, you would call them. They usually have a poster, or they have a big long list about their kingdom. Basically, they're actively recruiting. You can go to the Rise of Kingdoms Facebook page. You can go to almost any content creator's Discord, and they have a recruit me section. And there are tons of kingdoms that they're just all the recruiting information is there, who to contact, what they're looking for, stuff like that. And you can start to figure out with what they're looking for, if that fits you and what you're looking for, and that can start the conversation. Okay. Now, that is how you can go about looking for a new kingdom. That's if, you're doing it by yourself and you don't have any friends to help you. That's the best way to do it. Discord, Facebook, look at what they're looking for, see if that matches what you're looking for, just to get that ball rolling and you have someone to contact. Now, there are several questions that you should be asking once you find either a kingdom, or even if it's multiple kingdoms that you're looking at. You don't have to look at one kingdom at a time. Okay, you can look and talk to as many kingdoms as you want. If you're interested in 5 different kingdoms, well, honestly, more the better. You're keeping your options open and you're opening yourself up to truly find the best fit. So don't limit yourself to just talking to one kingdom at a time. It may take you forever to migrate and you may end up just saying, screw it, I'm not migrating, because it can be a headache. One of the questions that you should ask, now I have 7 questions here and they're not in any particular order that you should ask them, but they're like sample questions that A, you definitely should ask, and B, just hearing these questions that you should ask should give you ideas of other questions you can ask on top of the ones I'm about to say, because you should have a million questions, okay? And they should be patient and they should answer all your questions. If they're serious about recruiting you, you should be able to ask as many questions as you want, because remember, they're looking for people to come in. You do not have to go to that kingdom. It's on you. It's your decision. So you want to feel wanted, ask as many questions as you want. Now, in no particular order, the first one I have written down here is what exactly are they looking for? Okay, are they looking to add more field fighters to their kingdom? Are they looking to add more garrison leads, rally leads? And, what are you? Are you more of an open field, rally, garrison? Just figure out what more they're looking to grow. Some kingdoms may have plenty of rally leads, but they need more garrison. You see what I'm saying? So that might automatically be a perfect fit for you if you're a garrison lead and they have plenty of rally leads, but they need more garrison, or they need more open field. You know what I'm saying? So that's question number 1, just you can use to get the ball rolling. A lot of kingdoms, they have certain criteria for certain alliances, and they should be able to give you a good estimate. You can ask them, what alliance should you expect to go to if you migrate to their kingdom? So where would you land? And honestly, I would add on top of that, are all their big spenders in one alliance? Okay. Do they spread their big spenders out over the top, 4 or 5 alliances in the off season of KVK to, help smaller players grow and just, spread out the the big spenders and the purchases and gold chests and everything? That way a huge chunk of the kingdom benefits. Or are they a kingdom where all their big spenders are in the main alliance? And the reason you want to know this is because if they're in the main alliance and they're not telling you to expect to be in the main alliance, then you kind of want to build off of that question of, okay, what do I need to do to get into that big alliance? Like, what do you have to prove to get in there? Like, what's the criteria? You see what I'm saying? That's why these questions are super important, because once we start going over them, you're going to be like, oh man, that is a hell of a question. Holy crap. And if you ever migrated anywhere, how specific and how in depth were your questions? Or did you just ask a couple and just migrate in? Let me know in the comments below. Now, the third one I have on my list that you can ask is, are doing camps and keeps for those blueprints, are they open for everyone, or is there a list? Okay. And if there's a list, how do you get on the list? Now, if they say there is a list, what you can also ask is, in some kingdoms, certain alliances have certain camps and keeps. So that way, there's not as big of a list. Your alliance has specific camps and keeps that you can do, and you have a better chance of doing it. But you want to know, what is the criteria, especially if you're a growing player, or maybe you need some more silent trials or Delane's amulets, stuff like that. That might be an important question to you, because maybe in the kingdom you're leaving, you never really got a shot to do camps and keeps and get those blueprints. And so, the weakest part in your game and on your account is your accessories. I fall under that category, but I'm also extremely lazy. So that's honestly my problem. But it's something that you might want to know. The fourth question that I have on my list is a pretty big one. Honestly, a lot of people might put this one at number 1, but like I said, they're not in any certain order. They're just how, as I thought them up, I typed them down. So how does MGE work for this new kingdom that you're looking at? Is it open, or is there a list? And how big is the fixed ranks? Do they do like 1 through 6? Do they do 1 through 10? What are they working with? Okay. And if it is fixed, what are they looking for you to be able to eventually get on that list? If you're trying to pick up some certain commanders, what's the criteria for that? MGE, that's a pretty big one for most players. Now, here are some that you might not think of and might not be that big of a deal for you. But I feel like if you are a growing player, question 5 is, are there 24/7 title givers? Okay. Like, is it a kingdom that has, 4 or 5 title givers? They're spread out through different time zones. They're very extremely active players. And so you can pretty much get a title whenever you want. Now, this is very important for someone that is still like either growing or, trying to train more troops, whatever it is you're trying to do. There are kingdoms out there that they only have a couple title givers and they're in the same time zone. And so only half the day titles are going out. Now, to build off of this with question number 6 that you can ask is, are there daily kingdom buffs? Okay. Or are there only buffs during certain events? Because not every player is either max tech or have every building level 25. There are always players still growing. And if you are one of those players, that's trying to migrate in there, but you're still growing, you want to know how often kingdom buffs are, and if, they're like applicable for growing players, such as like the architect buff, the scientist buff, the research buff and everything. So that's something that might be important to you. Another one that a lot of people don't think of is gold, farming gold. So is gold open to farm wherever? You see a gold node, you go farm it, doesn't matter where it's at. Or can you only farm gold on alliance territory or in neutral territory that no other alliance has. So that's a pretty basic one, but I feel like it's pretty important because if it can be one of those small annoyances if you get there and say that you are a T5 player or you're on the verge of T5 and you're going to need a lot of gold for that, and you get there and realize, man, farming gold is really freaking restricted. How am I supposed to grow here when I can barely farm any gold? It sounds like a small issue, but it can turn into a bigger issue, if you know what I'm saying. Typically, that's younger kingdoms that run like that, not older kingdoms. Typically, older kingdoms, you just farm gold wherever you can get it because they know everybody needs it. Those are just the questions I thought of in the top of my head. Literally, there is an infinite amount that you can ask, and you should ask as many questions until you're satisfied, until you're like, I literally can't come up with another question. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should never have a doubt in your mind whether or not you want to go to this kingdom by the end of your question, like your Q&A that you have with the recruiter. Now, you can spread out these questions over the course of a couple days, a week, a couple weeks. Like, it's your time period, you know. Now they may have like some restrictions on like when they have to cut off migration and stuff, but you should never feel rushed. You know what I'm saying? How you can determine whether or not all the answers they gave you to all your questions are accurate and truthful and not dishonest just because they want to get more players. So they're telling you what they think you want to hear. What you can do is create a new account in that kingdom. And if you can swing it and they'll let you, whatever alliance they said that you could expect to get in, you can try and get that new account in that alliance. That way you can get to know the people in that alliance more. Most of the time it's probably going to be full. That alliance is going to be full, so they may not let you. But that, you know, you can still talk to people in kingdom chat, get to know people, you know, figure out, you know, ask people that are in that kingdom, like just the everyday regular player, ask them some of the questions you ask the recruiter, see if you get back the same answers. Another thing you can do is, if you like all the answers you hear, you created an account in that kingdom, you're actively talking to those players in that kingdom, you can try and see if they'll add you to their kingdom Discord. And that way you can even get more of a sense of how these players interact with each other. You know, do they have the same sense of humor as you do? Like, you know, how's their meme game? Just, you get more of a relaxed setting in Discord, and you can see and feel how people truly are, especially in a Discord setting where people tend to cut up and cut loose and everything and just have a good time. So that's another way you can do it. What you can also do is, if you're like, man, I really like this kingdom, I like how they are on Discord, they're extremely friendly, everybody I've talked to in that kingdom gives me the same answers that the recruiter gave me, I'm pretty much gonna go there. The last thing you can do to be 100% sure that you want to go there, find a player that is no longer in that kingdom but was in that kingdom at one time, preferably someone that had been there, you know, preferably recently, and see, like, hey man, why did you leave? Is this really what that kingdom is like? Because not everybody that migrates out is a disgruntled player of that kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they left for their own personal reasons. Maybe they wanted a new experience or journey. And that's just, you know, you don't have to go that far, but this is just everything that you can literally do to figure out if it's the right kingdom for you or not. Now, again, like I said, there's a million questions you can ask. You can never ask too many questions, but I hope that, you know, the questions we went over gives you like a baseline and just gets you thinking, just gets your brain working, and I'm sure you'll come up with a ton of questions you can ask. Now, if you've migrated before, what was the process? Like, how did you do it? Did you do any of the things that we talked about in the video? Just let me know in the comments below how it went for you. But again, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Wispy Gaming. Catch you guys in the next one.